Greetings, friends. Greetings to the world. Now, I've decided today, this morning, to experience this conversation that we oh so love to have together a slightly different way. And this way, I have written a little story on a notepad. Just a few loose bullet points on what the fuck is going on in this incredibly strange life. By the way, I just got the shit. It's a man, an astronaut on fire. And I think it just perfectly, with America right on my heart, and I think it just fucking perfectly articulates everything going on right now. So there's no need to be said upon that account. Because it speaks for itself. But there's, darling, let me begin this journey by sharing with you that, well, darling, I recognize that I'm merely, in every moment, an actor upon stage in a role that I've already painted for so long. You've been obsessing and going crazy in your own mind about what is the role, what is the experience, what is it I paint thee, what is it I paint thee, me I choose to see. And darling, let me tell you, let me remind you, let me share with you that it is very much already here. Right here, my dear, it is already here. Right here, my dear, it is already here. And when I say here, I mean literally right in this moment we're painting now. I'm a character who's found himself in New York, embraced in absurdity and dancing incredibly gracefully as he taps into the deep ocean of feeling in every moment, letting it go before either of us can even really know what it means to be free, liberating each other's bodies. Inside of you is inside of me. These demons wash away the white space of light cannot reach. But it does now. What do I mean by that? Yeah, so basically, I was sharing with a friend last night that I feel like my life in the past 2 years has been a series and experience of a continually, exponentially increasing sense of hurling myself into insanity, into rapid change. There hasn't been a lull in the tides where I felt like I've been able to rest or break. It's just been getting faster and faster and faster. Like, I blasted off on a rocket ship 2 years ago, and it's just been erupting through at higher and higher velocities ever since. And though this was at once very disorienting, now I find myself learning how to drive, how to erupt through the absurdity of integrating a new being, a new intelligence within this body. I can do so in a way which is graceful. When the storm gets intense and the screams come as they do, so sexy, I see them as an invitation, which once used to be a psychotic break for me is now an invitation to a state of elation, sweet ecstasy. What I mean by this is, well, I met a man yesterday who was in his own world. He was completely silent, no headphones on, totally enveloped in the miracle music, because he chose to be in his mind and he chose to listen to the symphony playing in his mind. And when I saw him as an invitation, and I tapped into it too. We made eyes and we grooved, and then I took that flow and I dropped it down into an art piece. I gave the art piece to the man on the way into the airplane. We found him sitting in first class, and as I was giving it to him, I said, "Thank you for the magnificent grooves, man." And as I hand it over to him, he gives me this beautiful, beaming smile, just broadcasting such a pure vibrance that it was actually incredibly magic and powerful for me to touch. And as I'm giving it to him, I realize it's Anderson .Paak. I don't know how the dots didn't click before, but he's really one of my favorite musicians. And he's truly somebody who just breathes and so fully embodies his sound, which is just erupting in expression and emotion. And I guess since meeting him, watching him be completely enveloped in the world of music and symphony without any earphones on and just totally in his own groove, shared with me that as an invitation to the state of elation by tapping into the experience of creation regardless of whether or not the medium is even here in front of you. It's always here in front of you. I can practice drawing, painting, dancing, and music without doing any of them in the physical plane, just by tapping into the state. I can listen to symphonies go in my mind. I can hear a melody and I can amplify the melody and get a bass line and a drum kick. And I've known this to be true, but after seeing him and experiencing his energy, I realized, like, why not be here all the fucking time? Why not choose to live my life in a state of being in which I am the music, where I'm playing music, where I'm making art as I walk, as I move. When I'm walking, I'm dancing where I go. And when I talk to people, I groove with them rather than where, right? So ever since that experience with Anderson .Paak a few days ago, I have been really making a lot of music just as I walk through life and in the city, and I find that these states of like blast off are here, just like I can get myself to the most absurd states of being, really beautiful as well, just like feeling tapped in, fully present, where there's not all these isolated, fragmented selves unfocused upon. I can be here so fully in the moment and reel all myself into this time of now. Now, right, so, in this time of now, I've had these experiences recently. I fell into a vortex, had a really interesting conversation with a man who was radically tapped in and knew me for my entirety without me needing to say a single thing in such a could be a creepy way, one could say. But for me, it's an honor to come across these beings who demonstrate, live, and breathe that the ocean of intuition goes infinitely deep. And in the midst of our conversation, we went down a gorgeous vortex. And the vortex took another person inside. And in this vortex, we were unveiled, unraveled, it was magnificent. And then the first man left, and the second man and I got into a conversation about holotropic breathwork. He demonstrated the process, and I decided to dive into it on my own that night at the beach. At the beach, it's holotropic breathwork is it's a form of breathwork that was discovered after the war on drugs. Researchers wanted to see if there were any natural or other ways to tap into the same states of psychedelia without actually ingesting anything. And so they studied a few different breathing techniques from other parts of the world, synthesized them, combined them, and found that you can tap into psychedelic states of consciousness simply through breathing alone, and it can be incredibly therapeutic. And it's super simple what you do. It's a 3-part breath. 1, inflate the belly. 2, the chest. 3, all out. All through the mouth. Belly, chest, out. And I laid on my back for 30 minutes, and I did that nearly as fast as I can. And it's a very intense experience. I know going into it that it would be a very intense experience, and said that I'm going to go for the full 30 minutes. I tried it actually once before, and my hands started seizing up. Not seizing, but completely going like frozen and super tense. It was really uncomfortable, so I stopped. And I asked him about this, and he basically told me, like, oh no, just keep breathing through that part. And so I was just like, okay, I know it's going to happen. I'll breathe through it. So, of course, it came, and there's all this tension, super uncomfortable. And then the tension starts spreading into my legs, and my calves both tense up like fucking crazy. It's like the worst cramp ever. I start like screaming because I'm in so much pain, and I just decide to keep on fucking breathing through it. Then they get to this climactic point, my left one first, and it was just like, I'm on the beach by myself. It's really strange. Screaming to the stars, into the ocean. And all of a sudden there's like this release. And in that release, after, there's, I was thrown right back into the realms of ayahuasca visions, which is a very powerful psychedelic experience. I don't need to really say that. It's undermining it in a way. I was thrown back into my psychedelic visions. Basically it felt like this, and there were basically 3.5 releases. Both my hands had a release, and my right calf kind of did, but it still needs another session. But there's this giant unification of everything that I've done for a very long time. I've got a very expansive mythology in my mind of past lives or selves in creation. There's just like a giant library of characters who I've been introduced to in my creative works, who are synthesized from all the different fairy tales that resonated with me when I was young, as well as anything that radically inspires me in this city has a narrative component to it. And in inspiration itself has strapping it in and then let it go. I basically, all the psychedelic experiences, as well as creative journeys, as well as visionary meditations that I've experienced, as well as just like deep creative flow states that I've experienced, taps me into this ocean, this vibrant network of lifelines and times that I see on the other side, all formulating and becoming the framing for how I see this reality here and now. And basically, one thing that's becoming very clear now is that there is a part of me that's very gay. Surprise. I guess it's not that much of a surprise. But I haven't wanted to say that for a while. I've known it for a while, though. But there also hasn't been a real calling to fuck a guy in the way that I'm, like, mad for girls. And I guess I didn't really understand why that was. Up till now, I feel like it's becoming a lot more clear. My relationship with girls is very much of a muse. Like, I'm incredibly attracted to them. Basically right away, just in the way their body and their being, their essence of femininity, the goddess, she allures me, right? Guys, I can notice attractive attention, but I haven't really had any urge like, oh, I want to fuck that man, or even hook up with him. That kind of just sounds like not interesting to me, though I know that there's a part of me that's got some gay energy going. And it doesn't feel like it's being suppressed by not experiencing it, though I do like to flirt with guys, so it's like I kind of like, I guess I don't really turn off flirtiness. You dirty fucking whore. But basically, now what I realize is that my attraction to guys comes from the mythological stories of and experiences of like battle, and there's something so fucking sensual and sexy about riding that edge of riding into the edge of death, the verge where take me to the edge of the cliff, the great vast abyss where to go means to never return, and all I once was now rings forgotten. Going to this place with another being where we can both lose ourselves, and we are here to lose ourselves, to completely eradicate one another. And there's something so magnificent about being so fully present in the moment, at the edge of only at the edge. It's like only at the edge of death may we feel what it means to truly be alive. I'm writing that one. Only at the edge of death, blah blah blah, may we feel what it means to truly means to be alive, right? So, anywho, diggity dog, skip, scrop it, shiggly wiggly. Yeah, there's a part of me that's definitely got this very gay energy moving through, and I realize that it is a part of me which loves the battle, which wants to just fucking tear somebody apart. And last night I was with somebody who, more than really anyone else in my life, stirs this reminding energy up within me. One of my best friends in the world, who's just happened to try to hook up with me before, which is now two of my best friends. Funny, right? And then the third one I've hooked up with. So yeah, I've got an interesting relationship with my best buddies. Anywho, I realized with this guy from last night that nothing like that happened, but there's this part of me that's just like, I want to fucking slam you into the wall. And it's super fucking aggressive. That's one thing that becomes clear. And now I'm in this place, like, I think before when the thoughts came, I would like push them under. But now I'm in this place where it's just like, okay, come on out. Let's see what you're feeling. I'm not repressing any thoughts. Or I'm repressing less. I guess we're all subconsciously repressing shit. You know, the whole reminder that we are God. I guess anything but knowing that we are it in its entirety is a repressed thought. But fuck it. I repress nothing. I let all thoughts, feelings, emotions rise to the surface where I can greet them at heaven's gates of awareness and shine that white light and say, "What's up, baby?" Because in this I am free to be me. I give this personality the freedom to express itself abundantly, however it chooses to be, in the moment renewed like a water through a river, every moment evolving, evolution. Each shell is changing in and out of place, and I say that my name is Jay, and another day it can be whatever it is I want to say my name is. In the moment, I let it go, and I surrender to flow. Release the world of what I once thought to know, so I may be dancing in elation, sweet ecstasy, and forever discovery of what this being can be as unbound personality. Yeah. So I choose to see all these thoughts and desires and feelings, experiences that want to pour through me, and I just allow myself to breathe them in, bathe them in, unbound by what I think I must be, because that's lame, not sexy. And so they come and show themselves, reveal themselves. And last night was really one of my first sessions when I was actively being like, no, that's okay. I give myself full permission to do this. And I've also been having dreams where it's just like I've announced to myself that I'm bisexual. And when I did the holotropic breathing to bring it back, there was this incredible unification of all these different storylines, which also made it clear that there's a part of me that was being radically suppressed, and has been my whole life. And gayness comes up a lot with it, but it's a lot deeper than, oh, I don't want to be gay because society tells me it's not okay. Um, there's also a very powerful connection to my own power as a human being, as a creative generator in this world, as a role in this society. To step into the gayness is to step into the most radical experience of my masculinity, which is contradictory to what society tells me to be. That somehow by being gay evokes a femininity, and really it's just the exact opposite, because to announce to the world that you are gay means to say it's okay to fuck society. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be myself so radically. I'm gonna engage. I'm gonna open myself to the ocean of emotion that wants to pour through me. Let it be a tsunami cascading upon my body, envelop me, swallow me, unravel me. All it is, I am, because I choose to be. Discovering what it is I am. Painting scenes of me and how I choose to be, and watching them weave themselves as the dream bursting through the seam into being. The high vibrational tonality of thought stream condenses into the density of this physicality, and I witness it here so fully embodied. My dear, my dear, my dear, I'm a dirty faggot. Whoops. Yeah, okay, so what I'm saying is basically to be okay. Saying I'm gay means to say fuck society, fuck the things that they've told me to be okay. And granted, this is a lot easier today than it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago even. So I realize that I have an advantage, perhaps. I don't even know what that would say. I better be pahare puare, she kin sayam puare. Aramat tumpuare kin saying keshikatatansai. Areng, 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 areng. Anytime I get confused or find myself losing the groove, I have an invitation to tap radically into the flow, into the abstraction, and let go of any notion of control. No tension I do not hold. I dance. In the abstraction is an opportunity, an invitation to connect with breath, with being. And so I allow the spirit of the message of now to pour through me as a vessel, as an instrument of the divine. I am free. So, within the worlds of the mythologies, it's basically like, that would be a heady explanation. Stories upon stories. I realize that in this moment of now, I'm merely a character in the great play, with the stage that's been set already by me. And so let us play and let us dance in this role of Jay, sexily, baby. Right, so, my attraction to guys is actually one that comes through very violently. And it does with my other friend, my other best friend who's hooked up with me. We fight a lot. And it's like, we'll beat the shit out of each other. And it's fucking awesome. And we both get turned on to it. And we can take each other to a point that's quite beyond. We're both incredibly interested in body work, and we can also do a slow dance, and it's a very powerful dance that we do together, and we recognize that its brilliance in how we feel it. And there's this edge that we hover upon, and there's really nothing sexier, and it's this edge where a slow motion of dance then it's like crosses into a battle, and like what was once like a soft dancing goes into this experience of him trying to choke me out and me doing the same to him, and then shifts back into the slow dance, and it's like riding this edge of quite an absurd experience because you never really know which one it's going to be or where it's at, and it's just like these animals, like these lions training these tigers, these wolves that are, you know, practicing their hunting at the same time they want to take each other out, and it's fucking sexy. And the way that I can do that with a guy, and the place that I can take a guy to, I just can't with a girl. I haven't been. I'm not to say that there aren't great girl fighters. I just haven't really played around with them. In my experience, it's been very much a masculine experience, and in the mythologies, the ones that I'm going into battle with for the most part are men. So there's this. I guess there's now an acknowledgement of. I know I've been in many battles throughout my many lives, and I recognize that this battle is making love. It is fucking the shit out of another, and I also recognize that the act of creation for me is making love, is the same thing as penetrating a beautiful goddess, and to really dive into the experience of collaboration with another, it's necessary for me to let go of all boundaries for what I am and allow myself to activate sexual energy, which is the creative energy, when I'm collaborating with my bandmates, with my my brothers, my creative experiences, for me to pour my fucking self into the piece that we're working on together. I'm going to be sexually activated, and I give myself permission now to activate those streams in full capacity. That doesn't mean that I need to fuck everyone that I'm creating with, but that energy is going to be running, and I give it full permission to do so, because anything else would be to misunderstand what the creative experience is from this perception. So, I'm a dirty faggot. Let it be here and said. I am indeed. That's fun. And in allowing myself to be so, I am embodying the God within me, masculinity, the heart of battle, and permission to wholly submerge myself in the ocean of creation, preteric frequency, and I free the God within me. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Fuck yeah, baby. How's it feel, baby? It's so fucking miraculous, loving. Because you know why? You ignite this fire inside me, a desire to submerge myself in these worlds of ecstasy, the black abyss of chaos, where I hurl myself into an experience where I have no idea how the hell this is going to go. All that I know is I'm here and now, and motherfucker, I'm dancing. You ignite the spark of curiosity that gives me a raising. You are an invitation, a hand into the other side, where I have no idea what could lie before me. Darling, you are an invitation to fucking madness, to terror and brilliant ecstasy. You are lightning through the system of the thunder beings, every scene so obscene. You are a wild creature, never mine to tame, but an honor to stand by your side, darling. I will never hide from you. You loving you, not loving you, 100 proof. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Amanikia rango shivitadansai. Munakia tia rambo tia sansai. Maram, 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 muram, batitiansay. Batitiansay. Arambodey, amadediansay, andarimboy. Bansay, bansay, oh nine, oh nine.